Spring break isn't what it used to be. It's better. This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Visit bestwestern.com for complete terms and conditions.
I believe in bonding through suffering. I think that's how people become close is, you do hard things together. And that's exactly what the off-season program is. So as I get older, I can definitely appreciate that more. I think that's where we made all our money, and that's where we're able to play so good and go so far in these seasons.
This is Keith Grabowski, founder and CEO of Coaching Coordinator Network. We've kicked off our series, Slot-T Mafia, with Coach Paul Kilby. The series digs into the history, teaching, and evolution of the Slot-T offense through the coaches who built it and continue to carry it forward. If this conversation sparks more interest in the Slot-T and you're serious about building a clear offensive identity and teaching it with confidence, visit Slot-T.com and join the coaches carrying this offense forward.
We have the pleasure today of having with us on the podcast Andon Thomas. Andon is a graduating this year senior linebacker, team captain at Army, and he is coming from a very unique perspective. We've had coaches on the podcast, but Andon played in the Slot-T system at Liberty Hill. I mentioned he's graduating this spring from Army. He was a team captain this year, one of 2 elected team captains by his peers. He was on the preseason watch list for the Dick Butkus Award, which is given to the country's best linebacker in college football. Andon started all 13 games this year, his senior year, and he had 27 consecutive starts dating back to his junior year. This year, he led the team with 113 solo tackles, and for his career, he had 211 solo tackles. If you ever watched Andon play on a Saturday afternoon, my eyes were always glued to him. I couldn't take him off him because he's making plays all over the field, and I can almost see the brilliant wheels turning there as he's quickly identifying plays and getting to them. Finally, this spring, Andon's going to graduate in May with a degree in chemical engineering. So, Andon, welcome, first off.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Absolutely, brother. So, Andon played at Liberty Hill from, what would your freshman year be, 2018?
Oh, yeah, 2018. I think that's right.
Graduate 2021?
Graduate 22. Yeah.
Okay.
Senior year was 21. Yeah.
I still think in terms of football seasons, man.
Yeah.
I think what was your senior football? I'll probably never do that.
Yeah.
So first one, I'm not going to say it's a curveball question, but we discussed a few things, but could you throw at us, I think this is so interesting for guys out there, could you throw at us what is a day in the life like of Andon Thomas, senior captain, linebacker at Army?
Yeah. So I'd say I wake up about 6:30 every day. Takes about, 20 minutes to get dressed. We have a uniform and all that. So I got to shave. Got to be clean shaven every day, right? We'll have morning formation. So we'll all get in like little formations. That way we make sure everybody's there, getting accountability. Go to breakfast, have breakfast in the mess hall. About 4,000 people eating there at a time, which is quite a feat in itself. I'll have classes from about 7:30 until 12, various chemical engineering and core curriculum classes. I'll have a lunch formation, similar to breakfast formation. We'll go to lunch, and then after that, I'll either have a class some days, depending on if it's day 1 or day 2. If not, I'll go to treatment, get the shoulder right, whatever's hurting. Make sure that's feeling good. And then at about 2:30, we'll have our team meeting. And then from there, we'll lift, we'll do special teams meetings, we'll do position meetings, and then we'll have about 30 minutes for tape and dress, just getting ready for practice, getting mentally ready. And then about 5:30, I'd say we hit the field for about 2 hours. And then after that, I get off the field, go eat dinner, get back to my room about 9 o'clock. And then at that point, I got about an hour and a half or 2 hours of homework to do. So day's not over there. And then I'd say 11:30, I'll hit the lights and go to bed and just rinse and repeat.
Wow. Go to bed, rinse and repeat. That was my term. So now that your senior season's over, since Christmas been much change? Is it any relief, or is it still found other ways to be?
Yeah, no, there's definitely some relief. Football definitely takes up a majority of your time in your life. You're constantly thinking about it. What's next? What practice? You're watching film, studying for the opponent. Even in the off season, you're studying for next season's opponents and trying to fix things internally. I mean, you guys know how it is, but it's definitely a little different. I don't know what God has in store for me, whether I'm going to go play ball in the NFL or go to the Army. So I've been training for a pro day. have that in about a month. So March 12th, there'll be a bunch of scouts there, do a little combine kind of deal, position-specific work. But it's definitely been different. I definitely have more time to myself, more time to think, reflect, kind of grow myself, which I've been definitely taking the most of. I'm reading the Bible more. It's been great. So yeah, I've been loving it, honestly.
Great stuff. You are a man, and I love having you're a man of great faith. You and I share many texts back and forth with scripture out of the King James Bible, and we encourage each other. Man, I appreciate you so much in that light, brother. So much.
Thank you.
You mentioned one coming up March 12th. Where's that camp at?
It'll be at West Point.
That's at West Point. Okay. Now, you got to catch me up. I know you attended College Football Gridiron Showcase in Fort Worth, Texas earlier. I know it was a premier NFL postseason evaluation event for draft-eligible prospects. How did that showcase go for you? And are you looking forward to furthering your playing career? I guess going to another one in March, you are in the NFL, CFL arena. Give me some updates, brother.
Yeah, so I went to the Collegiate Gridiron Showcase, called CGS, in Fort Worth. It was honestly a great opportunity. There was 150 plus scouts there from the NFL, CFL, you name it. I had the opportunity to interview with some NFL teams, which was great. Kind of just showcase who I am and kind of the person I am and talk about football, which was awesome. But I think it went really well. We had a practice and we had a game. I think both went really well for me. So I'm just really glad I did it. I think there is some potential for me to play in the NFL. Again, I don't know what God has in store for me. I'm pressing the gas and he's steering the boat. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, NFL would be awesome, but being in the Army is just as awesome. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Are you working at all on deep snapping? Because you could put that thing back there in a rope in high school.
No, not at all. No.
You're not? Okay. I didn't know if that was making you a little more,
yeah, that's true.
marketable, that kind of thing. But man, you could zip that thing back there. If you weren't our punter, you would have been snapping yourself. Good deal. Let's shift gears here and kind of go the little Slot-T route here. When you were at Liberty Hill, we were totally two platoon. Your primary position was inside linebacker, but you learned many positions offensively. For guys out there, Andon was a coach on the field. He picked things up so fast. He understood the game of football on the field better than any kid I've ever coached in my career. Can you share with us the different positions you learned in the Slot-T? I mean, I know them, but just share with us the different ones. You learned a bunch.
So came to Liberty Hill in 8th grade. From there, I played quarterback majority of the time. I think it was either sophomore or junior year of high school. I shifted to fullback and halfback, so kind of just learning both. Kind of honestly learning the whole backfield, which I think was great because, as a quarterback, you kind of have to know what all four backs are doing. So it was great playing quarterback, and then I was able to learn pretty quickly how to play fullback and how to play halfback. So those three positions.
Yeah, you got that, basis for quarterback younger. I know that you're freshman, 8th grade freshman, and then we totally two platooned at Liberty Hill. So, at that point, Andon was learning those positions just in what we call crossover in about a 15 or 20-minute deal after we'd gone, 85, 90 minutes, just strictly offense and defense being completely split. Amazingly, Andon, made the move to Blanca with Coach Walker this year and went from a school with 2,000 kids to a school of 349 kids. And we two platoon this year, but one kid.
Really?
Caden Elrod, he played strong end and linebacker for us. And he even could get a little breather if he wanted at strong end for us from another kid who's playing outside linebacker primarily. But it was pretty amazing with those numbers we did that. But you know how critical that is with going fast and, spreading the ball and the pace of the offense. But Andon was exceptional at those positions, all three of them, and they were often based on needs. We lost a halfback. Oh, number 2's moving up. Andon's got to learn that now. Just in case something happens to number 2. But in your senior year, we, in round 3, we identified that, boy, you get to that certain point. And let me back up here a minute. Your name was brought up for so many positions. I mean, strong end, strong tackle, center, tailback. Yeah, and we were pretty confident did it all. But when you get to that point of losing, you go home, and we had Rouse in the 3rd round and knew they were super talented and good team, and then started playing more and more fullback, 40, 50% of the game, playing linebacker every snap, and then playing, and that carried on through rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the state final game, where I think you played more like 70% of the game. And, Logan Dyer, who was a starter all year, he had a phenomenal attitude. Logan was about 150 pounds and gave you everything he got. He was a great kid, but he also understood, I've got a Division I backup here, and he's going to play a little bit more. And amazing, kudos to him for that amazing attitude he had, and a little loss of playing time, but it had such a huge part of our run. How was that experience getting more game time? I know you practiced, but that experience of getting to play fullback in rounds 3, 4, 5, and 6 in 2021.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think the slot T is unlike really any other offense. We go fast, a lot of eye candy stuff with the eyes, but just being able to have the ball in my hands, it's definitely a different feeling. It brings me great joy for sure. I'm obviously a linebacker and I don't get the ball in my hands very often. So when I do, I definitely try to make the most of it. But even if I don't have the ball in my hands, just being able to block and, hopefully allow my boys to make a play, it was truly special, especially as, we got to bigger stages, especially in the state game in front of 40,000+ people in the Cowboy Stadium. I mean, that's an opportunity of a lifetime, something I'll never forget. And being able to carry the ball a few times there and score a couple of times, glory to God for that. But it was just really a great experience.
Yeah, that was 47,000 people in that game by the time
Jeez.
we hit the second half. They're all backed up trying to get in the place apparently. But yeah, that was an amazing experience. I've had this question down the line, but I'm going to fire it out now and I'm trying to stay, keep my thoughts straight. How similar? I know you're playing linebacker at Army, but did you feel some similarities between Slot T and Army's, veer option offense?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, the Army triple options, unlike any other college offense. Every other college offense run a traditional grade gun kind of stuff, but we run the ball, and so does Liberty Hill. Definitely a lot of similarities. A lot of the fullbacks getting a lot of carries, quarterbacks getting a lot of carries, quarterbacks blocking. I think a lot of the blocking schemes are very similar, and I think that really being part of the slot T set me up for success at Army. Just being able to know where my eyes are supposed to look and kind of react into plays that are a little unconventional and most people don't see. But I saw those all throughout high school, and I think that really set me up well for here.
You weren't nudging at the coaches to put in time.
Yeah, they got it. I don't know.
The linebacker coach that recruited you, he must have had a great appreciation when he came in. So I remember he came to the Alamo Heights game, quarterfinal game. I think it was your senior year. And he must have had a great appreciation for coming and watching us play.
Absolutely. It's definitely different. Yeah, definitely different than any other college or high school offense. So I think he really appreciated seeing the similarities there.
Being a slot T guy, Andon, Army-Navy game has always been my favorite game. I mean, I'm putting everything aside. I'm watching that game over any game that's going to come on TV, college or pro, which I don't watch hardly any of. But with you there the last few years, man, that was a nail biter for me, man.
That was a good game. It's unfortunate that we couldn't pull it out, but kudos to them. They played a great game. Obviously, you want to win that one. That's kind of what we pride ourselves on, is that Army-Navy game. But they played a great game, and then they got the best of us. But just it's a blessing being able to play the game, this childhood game, on that big of a stage in front of millions of people, in front of the president, like all those amazing people. Just being able to play a child's game, it's amazing.
Amen, brother. I bet you get even more perspective as the years goes on. Like, I know it stinks losing the Navy, but 10 years, you kids down the road one day, you're gonna be telling, man, I played in that game.
I know, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
And you'll be, like me on the edge. Well, more so than me, you went there, but on the edge of your seat, cheering for Army every year.
Oh, yeah, the rest of my life.
Yeah, me, Coach Walker, Coach Johns, we had the text thing just going,
the little text chain going.
We're hanging on every play. Yeah, hanging on every play for sure. That's good stuff. In terms of memories, playing at Liberty Hill in the slot T, or just even at, you played linebacker primarily, just in such a disciplined program, grinding off season. You got any great memories you'd love to share with us?
Obviously, number one's got to be that state game. I kind of hinted at it already, but just playing in front of that many people with my teammates who I love so much and coaches and just all of us putting in a combined effort into even the community and even the fans, just all of them showing out. It's truly amazing. But as you get older, you kind of get more perspective. And I think the thing I can appreciate most is the off-season workouts for sure. I mean, nobody wants to do them, of course. They're so hard and just gritty, and you're early in the morning, squatting twice a day, 3 times a week. It's hard, but I think that's where really Liberty Hill and all the slot T sets itself apart. And that's where teams are formed, right? I believe in bonding through suffering. I think that's how people become close, is, you do hard things together. And that's exactly what the off-season program, as I get older, I can definitely appreciate that more. I think that's where we made all our money, and that's why we're able to play so good and go so far in these seasons.
Amen. Only Andon Thomas. I absolutely love it. Greatest memories, and he picks the grinding,
absolutely
brutal off season. That's good stuff. I get it though. I do. All joking aside, like the appreciation for it. The appreciation.
Right, yeah.
How much did that prepare you for Army? I would imagine that gave you great preparation for the grind that Army is.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, our off-season workouts are pretty grueling too, but kind of hitting like the Army stuff, all the military trainings we're doing the weekends and in the summers, I think it really prepared me well, just being able to be mentally resilient and mentally tough. And when things get hard, especially physically, just being able to, go back to your training, all these years we trained and, persevering and being resilient through this hardship of squatting 315 for 5 reps. And that's kind of what you go back to naturally when things get hard. So I think that really prepared me well for obviously not only the off-season workouts we have, but, just the military trainings we do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I got you in the back of my head. Well, you and some of the other, real strong guys, our kids, they're really buying in at Blanco. They're doing great.
That's awesome.
They're not batting an eye to the off season. Now they
That's
they need
awesome.
to learn to put more weight on the bar. That's where they have it, but it's not completely bucking the system. You know what I mean? Because you know how grinding it is what we do, and
Mhm.
it's 55 minutes of pure misery.
For
And
sure.
they got to move that weight up, but there's so many times when, guys are lunging. Some of our stronger 185, single leg lunges. I'm like, I'm used to guys doing 405, 4 plates of liberty. I try not to stay at liberty. I
Yeah.
got you and, a few of the guys. It's amazing how strong that offseason gets you program wide. Maybe not high end.
Mhm.
Maybe we don't have the strongest guys in state in powerlifting or something, but across the board, I remember I think your senior year, the next year, it was 15 guys using 3 plates for
Yeah.
lunges, for single leg lunges, they're going down with 3 plates aside. I mean, that's great strength across the board for sure.
It's awesome.
It really prepared, defense is every defense coach would be the same. It's got to be 11 hats to the ball flying, hair on fire. I don't know too many defensive coaches say, no, we don't worry about that. That's everybody. But that's how we play offense. 11 hats
For sure.
screaming to the point of attack, going the ball. There's nobody resting on the backside. And that off season, it really trains you for that mentality of just going and going and going. So
No
it
doubt.
is. Yeah, it's critical to our system. Favorite play as a fullback? I'll go fullback. 'Cause
Fullback. Ooh. Well, I would like to say 234 to 36.
okay.
You're just
Oh,
running straight. But I do like the traps, 333 and 332. You get to cut back a little bit, get off that trap. I just remember it brings back to mind the Alamo Heights game. I think it was 333.
yeah,
I'm
333.
pretty
Yes,
sure
sir.
it was. Yeah.
Yes.
I was, able to score there because the guys had great blocks, but it's just I see guys going that way and I'm going this way. It's like, okay, that's
Yes.
awesome. It's kind of shows the slot T there, but I like the traps a lot. I think if I had to say one, it'd probably be 333 or 332.
Yeah, I know the 333 you're talking about. You're talking about from about 45 yards out, right? You scored?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think it was like 36 or something. It's one of those.
Critical late in the game, and you had the wits about you to go sideways on the 1 yard line to knock another like 4 seconds off the clock before
Sure.
you stepped in the end zone because they weren't chasing you for a minute. You were so far past everybody. You were 20 yards past everybody. That thing was blocked well, and you creased it perfectly as well. I had after that, okay, give me the top 3, but you named 234, 236. So
Yeah, that's a special one. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And 34 power, kind of same thing on quick.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You go back to that game, and then Logan was in the game at fullback. Well, we ran 34 power, which for guys listening, that's our 234, 236, our power play on quick. And we saw the week before they played Marble Falls and they run Slot-T that they took their both 2 high safeties and the corner on the tailback side, and all 3 keyed the tailback. All 3 were keying the tailback. 3 guys out of 4 in the secondary are keying, and I saw this against Marble, and we said, what if we run 34 power and just flare our tailback, just run them in the side, just sprint out of a stance flat sideways. If you ever went back and saw that play, Logan hits that thing, and once he gets past the signal, all 3 of them are running the wrong way.
Yeah.
They're running themselves right out of the play. So
Mhm.
it's fun when you can get people really keying something and mess with it and play with it for sure.
Yeah, it's a chess game.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we discussed many different positions. You played earlier. I'll talk about that favorite. Sorry. At linebacker, man, you had a front row seat to their awesome ground attack. I want to talk about my favorite guy there over the last couple of years. I can't remember his name, the quarterback from Abernathy.
But Bryson Daly, yeah.
Yes. Good
Yeah.
dude.
Oh, he's a great dude. Outstanding.
I
Yeah.
guess if he wasn't, you'd say yes anyway. No. That was a linebacker playing quarterback.
Mhm.
He never shied away from contact. I was amazed because maybe it's a depth thing, but we've always been reluctant to run our quarterback too much just because, man, sometimes it's a big drop off between 1 and 2. Y'all at Army never shy away from that. I mean,
No, not at
he's
all.
yeah, 15, 20 carries, lowering his shoulder, dragging guys 3 yards. You ever go live in practice where you had to
No,
ones
no,
on
we
ones?
never went live in
Yeah,
practice trying to protect the guys. Thank goodness he probably would've ran me over, but
try to protect him, and also when do you see that offense? It's that old deal. Like,
Mhm.
y'all wouldn't be really benefiting from that. You never went against it, right?
Yeah, yeah, we rarely went against it. Maybe, like, Navy and Air Force a little bit, but even then again, they run different stuff, so
Not as pure as y'all for sure.
mhm.
What was it like to be nominated as one of the 2 team captains this past year by your peers?
It's truly a blessing. I mean, I thank God for it every morning and every night, and just I think it's seriously the greatest single achievement I have in my life is my teammates who we all pour so much effort into, and we love each other so much, and we do all these hard things for them to select me, little old me from Liberty Hill, just a little guy, for me to be selected as captain, for them to trust me to voice what they have to say and represent them. It's truly amazing. I'm just so humbled and grateful for these guys and all that I poured into them and all that they poured into me, and for them to vote me captain and represent them, it's seriously like the single greatest honor of my life. So
I can only imagine. I mean, there's so many disciplined guys there, so much, hardcore discipline, so many guys that are, they're not playing for big time NIL money. Their college football's gotten so corrupted, sounds negative, but it's very different. The
for
landscape's
sure,
incredibly different, and guys there are there for all the right reasons and busting their tail. I can only imagine the discipline. Like you said, what an absolute incredible, accolade to have tagged you to be that. That blows my mind. What are some of the responsibilities that went along with being a team captain at Army?
yeah, I think obviously there's the football stuff. You gotta talk with the coaches. Speak at meetings when things aren't going right. Be a little voice, but I think it's different at Army for two things. One, it's an institution of a bunch of leaders, so it kind of makes me and Caleb, the other captain, the other linebacker, it kind of helps us out a little bit because we know while we're leaders, we're also have a team full of leaders. So everybody's being vocal. Obviously, West Point's the premier leadership institution in the world, and I think that really showcases in our football and how we play, but just being able to lean on those guys to lead, even though they're not captains, they're more informal leaders. I think it makes our jobs a lot easier. Second, there's all the off the field stuff. So obviously we're a military academy. It's a bunch of, like got to make sure people at formations, people are doing the right thing when they're at school, just like kind of following the military deal, making sure that's all set so we can put all our focus into football. So it's definitely a different type of leadership than, your typical captain who's only focused on football and doesn't care about school or anything else off the field, which I think it's a great developmental opportunity. Just, in the real world, football is not going to last forever. Even if you go play in the league for 20 years, eventually it's going to be done and you're going to have to lead people in the real world. So I think it's a great developmental opportunity and I'm so grateful for it, but it's definitely has its challenging times. Then again, that's how you grow.
So the other team captain was a linebacker as well.
Yes,
The
sir.
other one, Phil, what was his number again?
53.
53, 51 and 53 in there, right? I remember your center was 51 as well.
He was.
Yeah,
Yep.
that would always, I mean, obviously there's a massive size difference, but sometimes you guys literally passing each other, running off
Yeah, yeah,
on and
yeah.
off the field. It's always like, hey, 251s, good stuff.
Yeah, my like whenever people text or my mom there'll be family friends watch the game. They maybe haven't watched the game before, and my mom will say, "Oh yeah, he's number 51," and then they'll watch the game and be like, "Oh, Andon's gotten really big." I'm like, "No, that's not me. That's that's the other 51." I think it's kind
Yeah.
of funny, but
Like I said, your name came up at center at Liberty Hill too.
that'd have been something.
Came up with a lot of positions. Your name came up. I can imagine you mentioned how, all guys and the best teams are player led. Everybody
Mhm.
needs to be a leader in some way. Certainly there's follower leaders. I'm imagining the discipline issue, but the lower down the leadership rung at Army is probably would be elevated to one of the best attitudes and leadership level at a lot of other Division I schools.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Yeah.
and that's not knocking anybody. I know it's a special breed that goes there for sure across the board.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, my teammates are so great. We don't ever have to worry about buying, which I mean is the greatest thing. I mean, if they're here and they're going through the daily struggles of the academy, not even football, just waking up early and going to school all day and then just the daily grind, they're going to be committed to football. So it's really amazing. You don't have to worry about buy-in, which I think is a big problem, especially in college football nowadays. I think it's kind of like you said, corrupt a little bit. It's kind of corrupting the purity of the sport a little bit, which, I don't ever like to compare, but I mean, I'm just so grateful that we have dudes who not doing it for the money. They're doing it for all the right reasons. They're doing it because they love the sport and they love their teammates and they love their family and they want to represent everybody well. So
Yeah.
it's been great. Yeah.
I'm going to ask a somewhat ignorant question here. I'm almost answering my own questions. They have no eligibility to go in the portal, right? They're there.
So you can go in the portal. We can take transfers in, but the problem is they have to start like as a freshman at the academy. So they have to go through basic training and all the military training, which nobody wants to do. So we've only had one transfer ever. He's still on the team. He's a guy from Central Michigan. But so you can transfer out either your freshman or sophomore years. So when you go to the first class of your junior year, that's called your affirming. So you basically commit yourself to the last 2 years of the academy and then 5 years in service after. And if you leave your junior or senior year, you're going to have to end up paying money back to the academy. Typically, like we've had a couple guys leave and the schools they've went to have paid off the debt, which is it's pretty rare. But typically, no, once you're junior or senior guys don't really leave.
Right. What's your weight up to now? I know, pushing for the NFL. How much you weigh at this point?
I'd say like 220.
220.
I feel like that's a pretty good weight. I feel like I like to be able to run and move. Whenever I get heavier, I don't feel like I'm very as much agile or fast or quick. But I definitely feel it like the days after the games. I'm like, golly, a little extra mass would help me out a little bit. But I think moving and be able to be quick on the field is, I think, better for me.
Right. Right. How's the shoulder doing?
It's good. Yeah. I got surgery, I guess, a year ago,
Right.
last February. Because I tore it in the 24 season. And it's been good. Rehabbed all from February till about July, and then that's when we started fall camp. And it really didn't cause me any problems in the season, but it's definitely like you're playing. It's a subconscious thing. You don't want to tear it again or go the wrong way. So that kind of affected me a little bit, but no, it's been healing well. I mean, I got full range of motion back. I'm able to work out and stuff. So it still bothers me when I wake up sometimes. Just kind of like getting old.
Yeah.
But no, it's been good.
And you came back to Liberty Hill, was that last spring for the call to leadership, or was that 2 springs ago?
Yeah, that was last spring. I think it was last March.
Okay. And I imagine you're getting put in quite a few positions. Do you struggle at all with public speaking in front of your peers and stuff? Are you getting more comfortable with it?
Yeah, I'm getting more comfortable at it for sure. I've never really been like a confident or competent public speaker, and I'm still working on it. But whenever I public speak, I definitely get really nervous. I don't know, it's just kind of how I've always been. But I'm definitely getting better at it. There's a lot of opportunities really daily at the academy to speak up in class or speak in front of people. So I'd say I'm getting better, and that's something you got to do in the Army is speak in front of people. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely getting better, but it's still it's still a work in progress because I'm anxious whenever I public speak. I get nervous. But, once you get up there, it's pretty simple. We just kinda let it flow, and it's just I kinda like to view it as, like, this right here, like, I'm just having a one-on-one conversation. That's kinda how I view it, and that kinda helps me a little bit.
Yeah, because you didn't come across as anxious in any way. You came
Good.
across
Yeah, thanks.
as a seasoned speaker, when you came, and I just, man,
Thank you.
how much practice this guy had doing this, And I know for some people it's natural. They say it's like, for most people, it's one of the most fearful things ever, speaking in front of peers,
It's scary. Yeah, it's scary.
Yes, sir. A story that I remember you telling, and I want this bad boy in detail. I love this story. How when Army goes somewhere, and if there's any correlating stories, how you travel on the plane, you guys always are cleaning that plane to the nth degree.
Mhm.
And who was it that did that? Was it different rotating classes? Just the whole 9 yards. Give us.
Yeah, so that's a Coach Monken deal. It's definitely his idea, but so we'll have the captains and the leadership council. So we have a leadership council, which is obviously the captains. Then you have 2 to 3 elected members of each class to kind of be the class's representatives, and we'll meet weekly. So there's about 12 people, I believe, 12 or maybe 13 people. So it'll be the captains and then the leadership council. They'll all stay on the plane. They'll wait for everybody to deboard, and then we'll just clean the plane. Just pick up all the trash the players left behind, sweep, make sure everything's out of the compartments. And I think it's really great because I think the biggest thing is it shows care to those workers who, work so hard. You know, if they were to have a bunch of trash to pick up, it'd be a bad view on us. But I think it goes a long way. Just saying thank you to those people who work so hard. You know, cleaning planes and maybe doing the dirty work, and they don't have much work to do, and just showing them gratitude. And it's truly amazing just being able to pick up after my teammates. But what that does too is they see us. Like they realize we have to stay and sacrifice our time staying on the plane to pick up trash. They're not going to leave trash. You know what I mean? They're not going to make their teammates pick up trash after them. So it's like clean by the time we have to pick up trash. There's really rarely very much stuff we have to pick up. So I think it just kind of showcases it's kind of a culture thing more than anything, and it translates to our locker room. Locker room's pretty clean all the time, and field doesn't have trash on it. And it starts with Coach Monken. Coach Monken, you'll never see him not picking up trash, even if it's in Alabama when we're playing UAB. Like there's some trash on the floor, he's going to pick it up because that's the kind of thing he does, and that allows if we see our leader, our head coach doing it, we're going to do the same thing. And I just think it's a culture thing. So
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love the idea of it not being the freshman having to do it like a rite of initiation or then it almost comes across as punishment. Oh,
right,
you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
do this. Man, take the leaders, take the upperclassmen to coaches helping. Can you imagine those stewardesses on that plane? Like that, they probably tell that story 100 times,
yeah.
what's minimum.
For sure, they love it. It just brings a smile to their face, and they're beaming with joy, and it brings
Yeah.
us happiness when we see them happy. So
The little things in life.
no doubt.
And I'm not saying it's to that level. I mean, that's really going above and beyond in so many ways. But we playoff game or visitors dressing room, we were always Liberty Hill and Blanco. Now just leave that thing spotless. It was just kind of anybody. I mean, I remember seeing the players, coaches, anybody's available just went through there, and there wasn't tape wads on the floor or
Mhm.
cups lying around. We left that place where the custodian could just come in and quick mop and they're out of there type deals.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
You mentioned the word culture. It's so critical, isn't it?
It is. It's the number one factor in success or not.
Right, right. It's just not the football field or athletics. It carries on in
Mhm.
life. How much impact you can have people sometimes doing the smallest thing,
Absolutely.
going the extra mile, for sure.
That's it. That's it.
Man, this has been awesome. What else does life have in store for Andon Thomas going forward? We got the NFL possibility. Is there
Mhm.
any other, if that doesn't work out, CFL arena, and if the football doesn't work at all, what's in Andon's plans? I'm loving this stuff.
So it'd be NFL or nothing for me. I'm honestly not sure entirely on the rules, but I don't think we can like go to the UFL or arena. But honestly, I wouldn't want to. It'd be the NFL or going to the Army, which it's so amazing because if the NFL doesn't work out, I know I have a job. As one of my dream jobs, in fact, is as an Army officer. And if football doesn't work out, I'm going to be an officer in the Army, of course. I branched infantry. For those of you who don't know, it's kind of like you see in the movies. Not quite, but they're the guys on the ground with the rifles, just leading 40 soldiers, being a platoon leader, just leading people in the Army, just like I've had the amazing blessing of leading people here. So if that doesn't work out, again, that's one of my dream jobs is being an officer in the Army. And I'm just, God has blessed me in ways that I don't deserve. And football doesn't work out, I know that I'm at peace because I know his plan is going to prosper, and his plan is going to make me prosper as an Army officer. So
Awesome. Awesome, man. To be able to see you on an NFL field, watch Sunday afternoon, that would be
it'd
just
be something.
awesome. Yeah, that
Sure.
really would be. That would be. Appreciate you so much, Andrew. I mean, it's hard to putting you on the spot, but what's the favorite scripture of yours?
Well, I'd say I pray Psalm 91 before I go to bed every night. My grandma she forced me. I wouldn't say forced me. She made me memorize Psalm 91 when I was 8-ish years old, and I've kind of prayed it every night since then. But I have a tattoo on my leg. It's this actually, which is our team tattoo, and then I have 1 Peter 2:17 under it. It says, "Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king." So I just think that kind of ties into Army football and culture and brotherhood and kind of the stuff we pride ourselves on, and that's why I got it tattooed on my leg under our team tattoo. So that's one that really, really sticks close to me.
Good stuff, brother. It was tough going forward from you. It really was. Compliments I know sometimes are hard to take, but we literally looked around the room and our coaching staff, well, what are we going to do now? The leadership void you left after you left, and we had great seasons afterwards, but you were a once in a career guy for a coach. I'm not
Thank you so
kidding.
much. That means a lot. Seriously.
You're on my mind when sometimes you're telling stories to kids at Blanco, different situations in leadership, and half the time it's more than half. I've got you in the back of my head and the things that you exhibited. I just remember walking out of the field house at Liberty Hill a few times beside you, different days you're walking out together and just discussing life and different things, and your
For sure.
perspective is so awesome. And one of the greatest compliments I can pay you, Andon, is you're such a, and I appreciate this so much, you're such a advocate for the underdog. Would sophomore JV team player came up to you and asked you a question, and they felt comfortable doing it, which they wouldn't with many, upperclassmen or juniors, seniors. You
Hmm.
give them every bit of much time and respect as, your best buddy was going to play K-State or,
Right.
McMahon or somebody who's a great team contributor. That heart for the underdog is going to take you, brother, very far in life, and it's something I appreciate so much.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that means a lot. Seriously. Thank you so much. It's amazing. Seriously. Thank you.
A lot of love, a lot of respect, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Much love. I owe it to you guys and God, of course, and my parents. Wouldn't be where I'm at without all of them. So
Yeah. Thank you so much for carving out this time today. I felt like I was badgering you,
but not at all.
texting
Not
you,
at all.
and
I love this. This brings me joy.
I know your schedule, brother. I knew it. We talked about it at the beginning, but I can only imagine, man. I'd probably keel over after one day trying to work that schedule at my old age. But yeah, we're so appreciative of your time here. This is a real special guest for us to have, and hearing your memories and your time in the Slot-T, and such a great offense, and it's so fit with, I think, that in the offseason. Like I said, you were groomed for Army.
I was. Exactly.
Well, great deal, Andon. Thank you for giving us some time today, brother. We wish you all the best, NFL or in your career in the Army, and I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you. Thank you so much. This is awesome. This is great.
Yes, sir.
If this conversation sparked something for you, if you're curious about how the Slot-T actually works, how it's taught, or how it can fit your program, that's exactly what Slot-T.com is built for. At Slot-T.com, Coach Paul Kilby goes far beyond interviews and theory. He teaches the details of the offense, formations, motions, series structure, adjustments, and the decision-making that ties it all together. Not just what to run, but why it works and how to teach it clearly. Just as important, Slot-T.com is a community. It's a place where coaches are sharing ideas, asking real questions, and evolving the offense together, learning from each other while staying rooted in the principles that have made the Slot-T successful for decades. If you're looking to build a clear offensive identity, teach with confidence, and be a part of a group that's moving the Slot-T forward the right way, head to Slot-T.com and join the Slot-T Mafia.